everyone, and welcome back to the Casa Cares interview series. I am your host, Haley Brown, the project director for the Casa Building a Healthy Wolcott Coalition. The topic for our interview today will be how nutrition and exercise impact mental health and some tips on how to balance a healthy lifestyle. We are very excited to have Kate Glendon, our guest for today. She is currently the public health specialist at Chestercott Health District and adjunct professor at Southern Connecticut State University. Kate has been working in prevention for over 10 years and is a community collaborator, dynamic, forward-thinking, master's level public health professional with experience in community health promotion and prevention with a focus of total wellness. Thank you, Kate, for taking time to be on our podcast today. I think this is also timely because May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and with the weather even getting nicer, I know I've seen a lot more people out walking, running, and just being outdoors, which is so great. And I often hear people say, especially I feel like I've heard this more lately, just that they work out mostly for the benefits of their mental health, and obviously the physical components are great too, but some people have said I need to just at least walk for 30 minutes just to clear my head. And so I know that there's so many great benefits to both. So can you first speak to some of the benefits of exercise in terms of how it helps support our mental health?
Sure, Haley. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast today. So exercise and stress relief go hand in hand. And it kind of helps your overall health, your sense of well-being, and it puts a little bit more pep in your step every day. It does have a lot of direct kind of relationship with your mental health. The first and the most hardest thing is getting started. So once you're able to kind of devote that time, schedule it in, do it for at least 7 minutes. If you make it to 7 minutes, go another 3 minutes. But usually the first 7 minutes tend to be the hardest, especially if you're not used to exercising. But getting your 150 activity minutes a week is very important. Exercise, it pumps up your endorphins in your brain, so it helps to produce those good type of feelings that your brain already produces, called endorphins. So it almost feels like you are just a natural happiness. So that's why people like to do that, especially when they're stressed. It just takes your mind off things. You can work and process while you're walking, running, playing tennis. And we don't always have to think of exercise as something where you're completely drenched in sweat. It could be something as just like a nature hike in the woods, or, doing activity in your yard. So be mindful that not every exercise has to be done at the gym. So when we're working out and our brain is producing those good feelings, it's also reducing the negative effects of stress. So some people like to work out in the morning to prepare themselves for the day, kind of release any stress or negativity they have, or they do it at the end of the day to de-stress. So they can put on their favorite music, their favorite podcast, and then, you're focusing on your workout. You're not focusing on your stress. So you're kind of reframing your thinking, and that has a lot. Sometimes when we're stressed, we go into what we call flight or fight mode, and that increases your feelings, your body tenses, your stress, your cortisol levels. So this can be really good at kind of practicing more of the positive effects of your body by training it. And so it helps reduce the negative effects in that way. As also, it helps you be mindful. You're just focusing on walking. You're focusing on, one step at a time, looking up at the sky, counting the clouds. It's kind of just a time for your body to clear its mind. Some people, do it just because they want that feeling. They don't want the benefits from the exercise. You're not looking to lose weight or train for something. It's just that it's how they release whatever they're carrying with them. And it's great to do with a friend too, if you don't want to do it by yourself. So a great way to do it is go for a walk with a friend, call someone to play basketball with. But you always want to make sure that you're in, kind of good conditions to do all this exercise, right? You don't want to start from never walking to 5 miles, take it slow. But we see a lot of people who experience a lot of benefits from exercise. I know that after I walk for 30 minutes, I always feel better. You may not enjoy it while you're doing it, but you always feel better after the fact.
Yeah, I feel like what you said is so good too. Just even like starting, 7 minutes and then like seeing how you feel after that, and just like this kind of the smaller, more achievable goals. And then maybe from there, yeah, it's like starts to be kind of a habit or part of your routine. Because I think anyone if you're going from kind of no or little exercise to just being like, okay, now I have to work out an hour every day, like that could feel overwhelming and kind of set yourself up for maybe some sort of failure in a sense. So I think the starting small seems so manageable. Like when you said 7 minutes, I was like, everyone has 7 minutes to just like get up and move around,
Yeah, and they say, you don't need to do all 30 minutes at one time. Break it up. So maybe you do 10 minutes here, 10 minutes with walking the dog. So you want to be realistic. You kind of want to look for that 1% change. So what could you add 1% to your day to make a difference over time? And so maybe that's every time that you're washing dishes, you do 10 squats. You're already up, you're already standing there. So build it into another habit that you always do. After you watch, an hour of TV, get up and march in place. So we want to be realistic about the goals that we set, because if we have this goal that we're going to, work out 7 days a week, when we're not used to that, maybe we're only doing 1 or 2, you may feel defeated. So, look what's realistic. Is it just yoga that day? You have to be aware of what your body's feeling. And, some days we have days that we're not feeling our greatest. Maybe our mental health is struggling, and there's some other stress relief that you might benefit from, such as like reading a book or calling a loved one or just kind of zoning out, watching TV. And, that can have some of the same effects too, because we don't want to always focus on the exercise part, especially with mental health. I think learning the appropriate amount of exercise for you for stress relief is important compared to weight loss, and knowing other activities you can do. So if you don't belong to the gym and your kind of exercise is weather related, like, there are so many free exercise programs on YouTube, on Amazon Prime, that you have access to, even just stuff with body weight. It just gets you moving and you feel accomplished. And once you start doing it over and over again, it becomes more of a habit. So maybe it's 10 jumping jacks this week and next week it's 15. So kind of know where you're at, and it's like, you schedule it into your calendar, and make yourself responsible for that. Like you have to do it. You keep that calendar integrity, and then, the more support, the better. So maybe Haley, we do 10 jumping jacks every Thursday at 10 a.m. and we text each other or we FaceTime while we're doing it. And so you show up. But everyone has to make that decision for themselves. We can give you all these suggestions, but try it. See how it feels and report back to us.
Yeah, I love that. And I think what's so great too is that you gave so many different examples of things people can try, because I think like you said, like, just intense cardio doesn't work for everyone, or maybe walking doesn't work for everyone. So it's just kind of like there's a lot of different options and trying different things to see what works best for you and what motivates you, what feels good. So I love that. Thank you for sharing all those. Yeah. And then, so I know we were talking a lot about just the physical components of wellness and mental health. And I follow you guys, of course, on social media, and you're always posting such healthy and easy recipes for snacks and dinners and everything that, looks so good and is also healthy. So can you just speak a little to how nutrition impacts our mental health and just kind of our overall health?
Sure. So nutrition, mental health, exercise, they're all kind of best friends. And then you want to think of a triangle. And, when your triangle is all connected, where you have your mental health, your exercise, and your nutrition, and all the points are, lined up correctly, you're kind of full alignment, because you're taking care of all the important things. Because with the lack of nutrition or poor nutrition or overeating on certain foods, that can definitely have an impact on your psychological dimension of your body as well as your mental health. So there's certain foods, what we know are the unprocessed foods that are very good for our body. They have the least amount of processed kind of chemicals and ingredients in there. And you want to know what you're eating, because the sugar and processed foods can also lead to kind of a crash and burn where it brings you up and then come down. So we all know how we are, or our children are, when we have a lot of cake and candy. Like, we're happy and all of a sudden we're so tired, especially even after a holiday. And so that's kind of, you feel crummy after that. So kind of that balance of the 80-20. So you want to make sure that you're eating a lot of, foods that are high in protein, eating the rainbow, which means eating the colors, greens, the lettuces, the broccoli, the apples, the oranges, the carrots. Anything of color is really good for you. And just using the plate method. So the plate method is half of your plate is vegetables and fruit, a quarter is greens, and the other quarter is protein. And, focusing on that, there is a scientific kind of research that when you're eating healthy foods that are enriched in omega-3 fatty acids, such as salmon, they're really good for your brain health. So if you know that you have a big presentation or a big test that day, you want to make sure that you're eating in a way that's going to support your brain function and not kind of sustain you for an hour like a sugary cereal. So when we're not eating well, we tend to feel crummy afterwards and feel bad about ourselves. And so the way to stop that is to kind of figure out, well, what am I eating today that made me feel that way? Like, journal track food, and how did I feel after I ate that? Or, sometimes people deal with a bad day with overeating or just not caring that day. And that's okay. That does happen, and you don't want to punish yourself for that. You wouldn't ditch your car because you had one flat tire. No, you would just, get a new one and keep going. So, if you had that day where you did eat a lot of sweets, or maybe didn't eat at all, the next day make it better. You want to make sure that you're eating every 4 to 6 hours so that you don't really crash and burn. If you're doing exercise, that's going to be very long, and you want to make sure that you have something in your body to sustain that. So the more nutritious foods that you have that have vitamins and minerals, the more it helps your body. It reduces the stress hormones. It doesn't increase your cortisol, and it helps you feel good. So, notice how you feel after a great healthy salad, and then notice how you feel after, a giant cheeseburger and fries.
Yeah, and
another tip I tell people is the first bite of an ice cream tastes the same as the last. So getting a small instead of a large, the first 3 bites are the best taste, and then you kind of, that sensation, that craving is gone.
Yeah, and I like what you said, Stephen, about the eating every 4 to 6 hours. I know certain people I've talked to, especially nurses, just who are kind of on their feet all day or maybe running around. And I know this could be in every job too, but have noticed maybe that they've it's now 5 or 6 o'clock and they haven't eaten since 8 a.m. and their anxiety's high and they're not, they're kind of, or just really tired. And so I think that's even just the kind of being mindful of when you're eating, or, and like you said, kind of the healthy snacks and the colors of the rainbow. I love that. I think those are all kind of easy tips and things we can remember for just when we're being mindful of nutrition. And like you said, and the journal I think is so great too, because that's an easy, even if it's the notes in your phone and you're just this is kind of tracked what you had for lunch, how you feel. Because sometimes too, maybe we're, feeling bad all week and we don't know why. But then if we had looked back at kind of maybe the foods we were eating, maybe it was more high processed, high sugar foods. And then just changing that can help a lot in terms of how you feel mentally. Was there anything else, just kind of last minute things you wanted to say on the nutrition aspect?
I just want to mention one thing. I think that sometimes we get so lost in our work, whether we're teachers, first responders, or someone with a long work shift, or maybe you're going on a long road trip. It's always great to be prepared. So whether it's pre-packing some meals to take with you so that if you have the opportunity, you have it, or a protein bar. So especially too, if you're going to a party and you want to stick to healthy food, bring something that you know is healthy that you can eat, or have something beforehand. So just really being prepared for all situations, maybe using a crock pot or kind of planning out your meals throughout the week so that you're not as likely to go and stop for fast food on the way home or have that, the treats in the staff room. So it's just all about being prepared. And if you think about that, when you're prepared, you're confident. When you're working out, you feel better. And that all corresponds with your mental health. Once you, just a few simple disciplines that's practiced every day and you repeat it, it becomes a habit, and that can change your whole lifestyle. It's just these 1% changes that we have to kind of try and make.
Yeah, and I feel like I've heard, I think it was a personal trainer that once kind of had said too, like, if you have kind of or you eat a meal that maybe makes you feeling more full or just kind of you're not feeling your best, doesn't mean you have to kind of like sabotage the whole day too. Like one meal, you can get back on track with the next meal too. So, and I know you spoke about that a little bit earlier. It's just kind of not like beating yourself up too much if you had been eating really healthy and then you had kind of like a cheat meal, so to speak. So, just being patient with yourself. I know we've talked about this in other podcasts too, but learning a new skill is difficult, and that's why change is hard, because our body just kind of results back to like what feels normal and safe. So just having a lot of grace with yourself when you're trying to incorporate some new things into your routine.
Absolutely. And the past is the past. No, kind of talking poorly about yourself is going to change the fact that you ate a whole cake. But what can change the fact is, well, what were you feeling that made you feel like that? Or were you nervous? Were you uncomfortable? Did it bring back a trigger, a memory? So just being aware of that and then knowing what you need to do to prepare. Sometimes holidays are stressful, preparing how you're going to navigate the day, knowing who's going to be there and who, how you're going to handle certain things, kind of vision it, manifest how you want your day to go and how you want to eat and really stick to that. If you can, is also really, something that can work.
Yeah, and I think the theme even of this and all the other topics we talk about is really just like our mind and body are connected. like everything's so connected. Like you said, maybe even like knowing you might be triggered in a situation, and is that going to like kind of cause an impulse to eat a certain way? So just kind of being mindful of, in the moment too. And then that makes you more aware of some of maybe those triggers or situations that leave you feeling more stressful, and preparation, like you said too. So I know, go ahead.
I know this is stuff that everyone hears all the time. And the reason why you hear it all the time is because it works. So, if you just need that little encouragement, that motivation, reach out to Haley and I or someone else. And, just the kind of reframing how you think about anything can really change your day. You can choose to have a good, healthy eating exercise day and try your best. Or, you can kind of just not change in that way. But that's your decision. So we can only make these suggestions because we know that they're effective.
Yeah, and maybe sometimes, this information sticks. Maybe you heard it a month ago and then, something happens and you're looking to make those changes, and you can kind of come back to some of this information and resources. Or like we said, each day's a new day and a day to start something new also. So I know we kind of intertwined this to what we were already talking about, but just any more tips on how to maintain or balance a healthy lifestyle?
I think just kind of know what's going on each week, each day, knowing, what could be a possible barrier for that week, and then working through it. Is it because, some weeks we have a lot of things at night So preparing how you're going to, how you're going to eat dinner if you're doing a larger lunch, or, you're going out to a restaurant, so you have a lighter breakfast. But also what's really important that I did not mention yet is getting enough sleep. Mm-hmm. So if you're not getting enough sleep, that is directly affected to your mood and will also, kind of make you more anxious, as well as make you have more cravings for sugar, so you stay awake. You're not really kind of conscious of what you're consuming. So I think it's just, understanding that, this is a lifestyle change and journey, and this may seem very overwhelming, but pick one piece and then build off of that. But definitely take some time for yourself. And we know, like, laughing, find something funny, whether it's a show, a person, a book, that's really good for just relaxing. Meditation, if that works for you. Sometimes it doesn't work for people. And if you don't try something new, then you won't know. So is it better to try it than have a regret of not trying it in a healthy way? And I think it's so important to practice forgiveness on yourself, because there's going to be days where maybe it doesn't work. And the next week it could work every day, but just knowing that, it's not a one night, overnight process. It's building habits. It's a journey, and that's okay to take a break sometimes, but you want to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people that support you and love you and understand your goals, and, kind of ask yourself, like, why am I doing this? What is my goal? I'm choosing to exercise because why? Like, figure out what it is, what's going to motivate you, and see what happens.
Yeah. And I love that you, just brought up sleeping and just kind of overall doing things that reduce your stress levels. I know it's, getting towards the middle of May, but I just bought a very cozy blanket and like a fall scented candle, because those are the things that bring me joy and make me feel less stress at the end of the day, especially kind of at the end of the school year. I know we're in the school system, so this gets to be kind of a stressful time. So I think it's giving yourself permission to do, what feels good for you. And I think, like you said too, giving yourself permission to change, that it might, one day maybe this helps, and then the next day, you try a new skill that works out well. So you have shared so much great information with us. Is there any, before we kind of end with your fun conversation card, are there any last additional resources or anything you want to plug on the podcast today?
We do have a lifestyle change group if people want support in doing that. So you can reach out to me. Haley can put my information in the chat. And if you're interested in the My Plate method for helping with your food, or you need exercise activities, you can visit our website, our social media, or email me directly so we can help you get the information you need.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And we will definitely, on our Casa website, under the Listen tab, is where we have resources from each episode and all of the episodes that have been released so far. So I will certainly put your contact information, your website, and some more information under this video or audio recording once it's released on the Casa website. And all right, so we will go into just kind of our fun conversation card question for you today, which is, what motivates you to try new things? And take a couple seconds to think about it. Yeah.
What motivates me to try new things? I guess what I do is, before I try something, I ask myself, like, why am I doing this? What will be the benefit to me for doing it? So just what does the research say? Is this, this isn't just like a trendy thing. But I think I'd rather have another tool in my toolkit that I could use to overall increase my wellness than not have it. I'd rather know something worked and didn't work and understand why. Not everyone is for everything. Like, I won't ever be that person that may, like olives, and that's okay. I tried it and it didn't work. But I think that you need to know, and when you try new things, you have new experiences and you realize new things. And you can meet new people that way as well. So I think the more you do things and try things, that it will also help, your mental health, because you're trying something different. You're experiencing something new, whether good or bad. It gets you out of your comfort zone, and that's how you grow. So, I never was a runner. I wanted to try something new, and I started running when I was, in my mid-20s, and I didn't know if I could run a mile, but I did, and I kept going with it. Once you find something that works for you, it increases your endorphins, and you want to do it more, and you want to tell everyone about it.
Yeah, I love that.
And then you can join a group that supports what you like.
Yeah, and everything's more fun with a friend, right? Yeah, I feel like you definitely seem to have this curiosity about things that motivates you for trying new things. And then, like you said, sticking with it because it feels good and it's something that's fun when you have a group of people that enjoy the same thing too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Kate. This has been wonderful. So much great information, especially, like I said, around this time when more people are getting outside. And I know there will be more like farm stands and farmers markets so people can be, or even growing your own fruits and vegetables. So people can be on the lookout for all those wonderfully colored fruits and veggies that will make us feel good. And yeah, and as always, check out the Casa website, our Instagram, Facebook pages for more information, resources, and to learn about upcoming events and meetings. So with that, we will end the podcast for today, and everyone enjoy the day. It's a beautiful day today, so get out and do something fun. Like Kate said, at least just for 7 minutes, and then go from there. So thank you, everyone. We will be with you next time.